Hello, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for listening to the show. Check out episode 54 with my very best friend in the whole wide universe, Joe Piazzola. Most well-rounded human you're ever going to meet. He's been on our show before. This is the second time, a part due. And we talk interesting stuff about line life, about being a lineman, what it is to be a lineman. Very interesting. If you've never dug deep into this before, check this out. You're really going to dig this one. Special shout out to Joe. He's been one of my biggest supporters my whole life of everything I've ever done. He's a big supporter of mine, from buying my work to just being my best friend. He's the coolest guy in my life. Big shout out to Joe. Don't miss this episode. Special shout out to Preston. We hope you're doing okay, buddy. Enjoy episode 54, guys. Welcome. You're listening to the 27th Hour with Junior
and Dre Rocker.
Get ready, strap in, and hang on.
Hey, welcome to the vlog, bud. Okay, we're on the right track. Like, so you good? You guys find the game? I don't know.
Welcome back to the show. Indeedy. Welcome back to the show. Guess who's here up in the house today? My closest companion, Joe Piazzola. Again, what's up, bro?
Nothing.
Let's have one of these.
How about you try this one?
That fucking broken. That's a broken wrist.
It's a broken hand. It's just one of my...
Bro, what the fuck's happening to you?
That's what I do. I break bones. I heal. I break more bones. I heal from them.
And then you're going to be stronger and you're going to be like a metal man.
Eventually.
All cyborg.
If you've met my dad, you'd know he's at least 60% metal.
I have met your dad. He's fucking cool. How's he doing?
He's doing good. He's good. He's real good. He bought a house.
With his whole life, all of your life changes.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening for him. He's, trying to figure out his place and what he's going to do.
Where's he working at?
California. He's an inspector.
That's dope. For the line industry.
That's right. Yeah. He inspects line crews for PG&E. It's now me and my dad and my little brother are all out there in the same area.
That's cool.
Doing the same thing.
That's cool. Your father was a lineman, is a lineman. For how long again?
43 years. I believe he's been a lineman for 43 years now. Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah. He just turned 69. I never got to work with him as a lineman. I hope that I get to work on a crew that he's inspecting so he can at least see that I can do line work. That'd be ideal.
He doesn't even have to see. He knows.
He does.
He knows. You're leaving a legacy behind you, young man. I hear it. I hear it. I know people. You're making a splash out there, Joseph. How dare you? You're supposed to go under the radar. No splashes.
Well, I've been told I was your protege.
That's a big thing. That's a real big thing.
Totally.
So is that? Whoa, I'm super.
Wow. Yeah, I got hot.
Well, that was weird. So is that a thing? Like, with Junior not being there no more? Are you guys like, fuck, man, fuck Junior? Why'd you leave us?
I would never say that, but I did feel some abandonment because when he left, little baby Jake left at the same time.
Everybody left.
All my Hammonds left me in the middle of nowhere, Oregon. And
See if that helps. I had that fan going above you. Sorry.
But I'm super happy that it happened the way it did. Everything happens the way it does because it does. But
Jakey might be maybe coming back to you. My little brother, Jakey. Or you're going to reunite maybe.
I hope so. I love baby Jake. I would do anything for that guy.
He's a good fucking kid. Have you ever met my little brother, Jake?
I haven't. He hasn't came to the show yet.
That's better.
I've met your cousins, but
never met Jed or Jake.
No, not yet.
My brothers. Jake, he's a good cat. He ran with us quite a bit. He wants to come back to you too.
Oh, good. I really wish that he was a lineman.
And he was on his way. He was an apprentice, bro. Not a lot of people know that. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At Summit. You were right. You were there.
Yeah, I wish I could have helped him.
I know.
I think it was the math.
You were actually there, right? On that job? Was you part of some of that when we were?
No, it would have been, I got with you shortly after that.
Okay. Yeah, that was the Croydon gig you did. I forget who was where. It's fucking horrible. Too many. Yeah. But yeah, he was almost there.
When you guys say these things, because like me, I have no idea about anything that you guys are talking about. Like he's almost there. He was an apprentice. So what's like ground level for what you guys do?
What's ground level? As a apprentice, probably. That would, yeah, because grunts and all that. You can either start as a grunt, right?
Yeah.
And work all the way. You can go several avenues. You can go grunt, operator, apprentice, lineman, and then into management. Or you can just be an apprentice. I don't know. How do most people do it nowadays? They just starting as an apprentice mostly.
Yeah. Well, all the ones I've run into, they're going to line school, and then it's so hard to get into the apprenticeship now because everybody wants to do it because it makes good money.
Is it flooded right now?
Oh boy,
Is it really?
Well, what's weird is that there's a shortage of linemen, but it's hard to get an apprenticeship. So the apprentices, like Cal, Nevada, it was all filled up. At the one groundman I had, he went to line school 2 years ago, and then was working as a groundman on our crew for almost a full year. And he applied to Cal, Nevada, Mountain States, all over the country, and he finally got accepted into one in Missouri. So
That's weird. I wonder what's happening there. We'll have to we were going to have 57 on here, and we could get to the bottom of some of that. I wonder what's going on. I know the quality is definitely lower. The quality of people's lower as far as why they're there. The way we grew up with it was we grew up with it. Our dads are linemen. My dad is also 40-something year lineman. I don't even know. He's more than I am old, so he's 40. He journeyed, let's see, yeah. He's same about as your dad, I think. 44 years, 40, somewhere in there. 40, he's almost 45. He's something up way the hell up that line somewhere. And he's still doing it too, right?
Yeah.
That's how we used to get into it, was through a family member, it was like that's a thing, man. It was like, that's why you did it. It wasn't people, now it's people searching for the money, and, that's a big, big driver, I think, for it now, is people want that money. They see that somehow it's out there, that what we make, what I used to make, what you do make. And it's blood money, right? Like, how hard is it to go out there and get that money?
Oh, I mean,
it falls right off of a tree, right?
Right. Yeah, no, it takes everything. I mean, I'm constantly injured, working my guts out. Love it. I love every second of it, but it's not for everybody. Like, if you're not willing to work and learn,
but everybody's trying to get into it now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The quality is definitely down, but like when we went through, it was, and every generation of linemen will say this, that it was harder for them than it was the next generation. Mm-hmm. But it's real. Like, I mean, they used to be able to smack you around, and
it was physical. It was brutal, right?
Yeah.
You earned it.
Yeah, they wanted to weed out the people that weren't strong enough to actually want to progress the trade and the skill levels and be able to pass that on.
We talked about that with Alex a little bit. That's changing dramatically. It was a good time to dip for me.
I always say that I had no idea what a lineman was until I came here, until I met you guys. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that there isn't a lot of education on who a lineman is and what you guys do, and really the dangers that you guys face every day? You talked about being injured, majority of your career, right? Why do you think we don't see that, or why it's not a big thing here? Or maybe it's regionally. Maybe in Utah we don't see it, but maybe in the Midwest it's a little bit more active or something.
Where it's not known to just the public, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't see a commercial where it's like, right. Come down to blah 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 and be a lineman and learn this trade, right? You never see that. You always see be a carpenter or be a plumber, but you never see being a journeyman lineman.
My answer to that would be, I think it's good to keep it where it is, so the ones actually seeking it, there's more of actually people seeking it instead of, I could try that. I should try that. That's what I think it is in my brain. It would be, it's kept that way for a reason. So people actually seek it. Therefore, he who seeks will find. You're seeking that more for a reason instead of, I could try that. And it just weeds out even more people that maybe wouldn't belong there. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
It's definitely not talked about. It's for sure. But it used to be such a family thing passed down. It's bizarre. It was a thread.
Yeah, it was usually somebody that, like, either their uncle or somebody close to them that, you know.
Like, why you here? Who you know?
Every single person that I work with, right away I always find out what is it that made you want to be a lineman.
And how rare is it they just stumbled into it? It's always a beautiful story of a brother or a dad or a cousin or not the neighbor saying, hey, man, you should try that. No, it's always that. I think that's probably why. It's not really an advertised thing. It used to not be something. Of course, we need help, but we need quality help. I need to say we no more. I'm not doing it any longer, but that industry needs specialized help. It's not a job. It's an absolute lifestyle. It's a power line work is an absolute. I don't know how you explain it. You can't explain it. I don't think there is a more dangerous job. I think it gets a lot less credit than it deserves. Journeyman Lineman are the salt of the earth humans. You're not going to meet anybody like us. Willing to. How's the saying? What's the saying? We do so much. How does it go?
You do so much with so little for so long that you're pretty much qualified to do anything with absolutely nothing.
Pretty much sums it up.
Was that like on the front page of the lineman book? Because you had that down 100%.
I've said it a lot.
We're very much those people, right? Everything we do is kind of like that. It's in you. It's on you. It's about you. It's so about you.
You're nurturing. Is nurturing the right word? A broken arm or a broken hand?
Yes, yeah. I broke my hand about 4 weeks ago, and
Where's your fucking cast thing?
Right. Well, I decided not to get it looked at for like 3 weeks, and then I found out it was actually broken. So I've just been dealing with it. I figured if I worked with it for 3 weeks broken, it's healing, so it's going to heal just fine.
Give somebody an idea what happened. Because nobody's going to understand it, but maybe the idea of how heavy this thing was that comes swinging down, kind of an idea.
Yeah, it was about 80 pounds worth of glass swung down. I don't know. It's
from a horizontal position, right?
From a horizontal, came down about 5 feet and smashed my hand against the pole.
Like on a hinge, it swung.
Yeah, and it's doesn't seem like it would be a lot, but it's a pretty good impact. And it made me say fuck, and I fucking never say the word fuck.
Right, I don't fucking say that either.
I know. You know when I'm really hurt. But yeah, I did that, and I'm almost pinched off the end of my finger earlier this year.
You broke a collarbone.
Yeah,
not too long ago.
Yeah, that was bicycle related.
You're just that's who you are.
Yeah. My doctor said I like to break bones. It must be true because I do it, quite often.
I don't want to. It happens. It finds me.
Well, it's fun to rebuild yourself. It's if I never broke myself down, you wouldn't believe how huge I'd be right now. Like I would be a maniac. But every once in a while, I have to break myself down so I can stay, at a normal human level.
Human.
Yeah.
Joseph's part machine, by the way.
What is like the most common injury of a lineman?
I would say between hand injuries and just worn out knees and ankles and hips. Oh, your back.
I would say all the main injuries that people can have times 3. How about this? But mostly, if you get injured on our job, you're gone. You're dead. There's no injury. You're dead. A lot of us don't have we get a lot of pinches and stuff, all that stuff too, right? But if you really get injured, you're gone.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot. I would say major shit. Usually, if it's major, there's casualties for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Linemen, we have a different mistake spectrum than some. There are none.
Very little room for error.
And it's not to be a planned out thing where you follow an exact idea of a thing. You just know what you can and can't do, period, and you just don't cross those lines. Very much a unforgiving business. There's no this might work. The famous last words of every lineman is watch this. Check this out. This may work. We don't even speak we speak with certainty. I think that's a lot of reasons why people get confused with me when I do some of this is I speak with such certainty because of that business. There is no doubting what you do. You do. And there's no, God, I hope this will work. I don't even have a stitch of that. I mean, if you're around enough of us, you'll feel that among us. We're just wired to think that way and very quickly. And so I come off quick and brash as well. I know on this podcast sometimes, and that's why it's just very quick decisions. And that's just how I'm wired to think, especially as a boss, right? The more people are below you, you even need more of this confident moving and deciding without too much lack of, I wonder what's going to happen. This pole might tip that way. The fucking pole's going that way.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, the confidence, you got to have confidence in your leader and everybody around you that everybody's going to be on their game because, I mean, it happens in a split second.
And it's often one of our wrong moves is going to kill not you, everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's scary too. It's not you don't fuck up. You fuck up, everybody's gone. It's really sad. So yeah, it's a camaraderie thing. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, you have to be certain about what you're going to do because you see it all the time. If there's an uncertainty and unsure, like you're just kind of guessing at it, it's not going to go well. You got to be pretty sure, and you got to be able to adjust and make these decisions on the fly
as quick as possible.
Yeah, it's most of the time you don't get a whole lot of time to rethink it when shit hits the fan or rigging starts, whatever. There's so many things.
My journeyman's exam is a prime example of this. My test, I'm rolling out. We all have one of these things in our test. I roll out the copper off the cutout. I don't remember the problem. That's irrelevant. Getting ready to snap it to do it. Me and Dave, the fucking thing pops out of the cutout, the stinger, the whole thing, energized. This is my test. I'm here to pass this. That's not part of that test. You panic. We don't panic. You calmly work through that scenario. And it was the coolest thing I ever went through my whole life. And we calmly stepped down out of the area and we had to talk about it. And we went up and we actually addressed that problem. And that just showed even more, to them. You didn't have to go to the problem. The problem changed. The problem was constantly changing. So even in my own exam, it went completely the other way where they didn't even know it was going to happen. That's line work. The weather and just everything. Nothing is going to happen how you think it will. Try it. It just doesn't work like that. It's really weird. So we're made to, we're conditioned to think differently than a lot of humans even would ever fathom thinking. And 6 million feet in the air and in the hottest of coldest of everything. It's just, everything is against you always. So you learn to be okay with that, I think is an idea.
I think this last windstorm that we had in last year, I don't know if you guys remember the really bad windstorm we got. Bunch of power out. People were without power for a few days, right? It really put things in perspective with how much we rely on power and how much you guys really do for us. With that though, I was just thinking, why, if you're gonna do something really fucking traumatic to, let's say a terrorist attack, don't you think it would go after power?
Absolutely.
Have you guys ever encountered anything like that? Like attempts at maybe cutting power or damaging, a power plant or something like that? I don't know if that's the right terminology.
It is right.
You guys ever see anything like that?
I haven't seen anything like terrorist related, but thievery, people trying to get wire and break into stuff mostly to get copper.
It's a huge thing. And back in 2002 in the Olympics, we had one here. There was a thing here, and I know an individual that was involved in that, supposedly. Long story. I won't say anything about it, but long story short, Terminal had a bomb threat, and they were going to take out one of the big things there, and it would have been catastrophic bomb threat. But yeah, it's always been a thing. There was a huge thing with Homeland Security. There's way more to it than people actually do know. I know that. They watch it closely. The subs are incredibly impossible to get into now. You can't get anywhere near a substation anymore. They're watched closely. But yeah, you could cause the worst mayhem. They know that. The people all know that too. It's just harder to get to, and it's harder to inflict the damage if you can't get close enough to what we have going on. Because we can put stuff together pretty quick if it's just out wherever it is. But if it's in a big sub, it take quite a bit of shit to make a mess. But it's happened before for sure. There's a couple of key things if they knew for sure. It's kind of weird how they hide it. There's things that people don't know that are hidden that would be big time. They go for dams and stuff. That's the idea, is they'll try to get our dams, like the Hoover Dam. You blast a hole through that, we got a fucking problem for sure. These coal mines, if those are the things they really watch. You take out one of our subs, you're going to hurt Utah and a couple other states, but there's a couple that would take out the Western grid for sure. and these terrorists fucking they know all that stuff. They know it for sure. It's scary. They inflict more pain on. They want to see death. They want to see carnage. They don't want to see chaos. They don't realize what it would cause though.
That's something that I fear, man. It's like, like
pure chaos.
Yeah, it would. You think about it. If we didn't have power, if somebody decided they wanted to take us out, take out our power, it will take a while to get that shit up. Like if they do it, in a major way,
it would.
And you do that during the winter. That's bad news.
It's real bad news. A lot of people have backup generation and stuff. Hospitals have backup generation. People that fear and know these things have backups for that. But you could do some damage taking out one of the right 2-3 dams in our system for sure.
Why are power lines above ground? Why don't they run them underneath?
They do. We have both. What's your answer to that? We do have both. Why do you think? Is there a more chosen method than others?
Well, it's more cost efficient to do it overhead.
Boom.
And because there's lots of places you can't even hardly dig in the ground. And it's super expensive to do, like underground transmission, especially.
Unbelievably expensive.
Yeah.
It is underground. A lot of it is. And the more and more nowadays, it's going more and more underground, I believe. But it takes 5 times longer to find it when it's underground too, if something goes wrong. But it goes wrong more rarely than it does when it's overhead. So there's a very, very, very expensive to go underground, very hard to find, but it does last longer. But when it goes to hell, you're out for a lot longer because you can't see it. We got to find it. When you can see it, it's easy to get to and fix quick and understand what to do, isolate. And sometimes figuring out some of these underground circuits will take a long time.
One of the worst flashes I ever had was on underground. Like, we were troubleshooting down in Draper when I was an apprentice, and we had there was a transformer bad. It burnt, like it melted to the ground, started somebody's yard on fire, and we were out there first, and we had an elbow burned off, which is just a big plug-in for an underground line in a vault. And we re-energized to test that wire, and then I went to energize the next stretch with that elbow, and part of it broke, and it went phase to ground, and it blinded me, burnt my face, blinded me it was a whole week I couldn't see, and like flash burned my eyes.
So when you said flash, you're talking about a literal like flash of light.
Yeah, like
explosion. It's an absolute fucking explosion.
And it was down in a vault. It was like 2 a.m, and me and my foreman were right over the manhole, and it was a good thing we weren't plugging it in from down in the vault because it would probably killed us. But I'm pretty sure you could have seen that flash from space. It was right outside it was pretty close to the sub, so all of the fault currents even higher at that point. But yeah, it was pretty wild.
And you couldn't see for a week?
Yeah, right away, it hurt, and I could see just fine, but within 24 hours, my vision started fading, and then like all I could see was just color, just different colors, but I couldn't make out any shapes or anything. My eyes hurt like ridiculously.
Man, and you go back. That's my thing. You guys go back after something like that. You go back.
Yeah, it's twisted for sure. It's I don't even know how to explain it. It's you can't put words to what that is. We're all that way though. 99% of us are that way. It's weird. If it don't kill you, you're going back. you'll be climbing with 2 broken legs. It's just what we are. It's so bizarre. It's you can't explain it. I think we all have a different explanation for it, but it's just it's not, maybe if it's pride, if it's just who else is going to do it, if it's, I don't know what fuels every man, but for me, it was always just, this is what I do. That's what I signed up for. Get up, do it. You're fine. It's like, it's a tough guy thing. It's weird. It's a commitment. It's such a commitment to who we are, to what you are as a person, to do what we did. I think.
You guys, it was a generational thing, right? Like if your family wasn't in it, you probably wouldn't be into it, right? But was there an expectation from your family? Like, you're going to do this?
Not for me. In fact, I did really good in school. Junior knows the story, but my life, it led to a quite a weird fork. I'd worked with my dad. I'd been with my dad at work when I was a kid, and I knew all about line work, and never did I plan on being a lineman. Never crossed my mind. I got straight A's. I was good in school. I partied a lot, but so I was expected to go to college, mostly by me. And I realized college, I went into computer science and engineering and realized right away that I've been outside working my whole life already. There's no way I'm going to be able to sit behind a desk or look at a computer screen for the rest of my life. So my dad said, well, you can try this apprenticeship if you want. It's worked out pretty well for me. And so I applied to that. But I decided that had I not applied to that, I was going to switch colleges, switch majors, and go into chemistry and start making drugs. Because I was pretty into partying and drugs and everything at that time. So it worked out good the way it went, because who knows how things would have been if I hadn't have gotten it.
Joe was going to be Breaking Bad guy for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
He started that movement.
Yeah, I was going to invent. I was going to make it better, invent new stuff, and see how far I could go. But
he's one of the smartest humans I've ever met in my life. This kid is, it's strangely, humbly one of the smartest people you'll talk to. It's weird. I'm just Lyman. No, you're a very intelligent dude. Any math question in the world, you call him quick. He'll bump it for you quick. He'll figure it out. He's a fucking genius. My answer to what you asked, though, would be the opposite, where it would be my dad. There was no expectation for me either. It was just a thing. You just knew it. I was going to do what Dad did. That's just all there was to it. I just knew that. My kids they're not do that. They don't do that with me. But I just did that with them. I don't know if that used to be more of a thing, maybe. I don't know. But I just knew I was going to do it for sure without even hesitating. I knew I was following them steps. I looked up to him. None of my kids do that with me. It's funny. Not a single one of them. They don't want to do anything I do.
Do you think it's it might not be doing what you do? Like for me, my dad grew up my dad was construction.
Yeah.
Day in, day out, hands fucking of leather, concrete, strong motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
But I never had no desire to follow his footsteps, right? Other than music. My dad was a music guy. He was one of the first DJs in Utah. So maybe your kids are seeing it in different ways, right?
For sure.
Maybe your kids, you just came back from a trip and took your boys out, right? Maybe that's going to be their thing. Maybe they won't be a lineman, but maybe they're going to pick up taking their sons to go fishing or ride that dirt bike.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my little guy, Vinny, he's expressed, he's wanted to do everything that I've done, dirt bikes, and he's talked about wanting to be a lineman. He also talks about wanting to run the car wash and be a mailman. And he's only 9, but yeah, I could see him possibly pursuing this. And yeah, I
think the key is to leave it open, right? Not force him into it.
Yeah. I did with my oldest son. I tried to push dirt bikes on him really early, and it worked out terribly. Like, he was scared and terrified, and I thought, well, this doesn't make any sense. You look like me. You've got the same name as me. I ride dirt bikes. You should be riding dirt bikes. I'm pretty good at it. You should be good at it and love it. But it it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And I was young. I was pretty young to have a kid. So like, I mean, nobody really knows how to go about it, but like the more I push him towards anything, the more he pushes to go the opposite direction. So, you know, I just kind of got to let him do his thing.
I've talked about that so many times on this show, and I believe healthy that is. I think that's a very healthy trait to have for somebody to push. That means they see a different way, and they're going to show themselves, or even you at that point, whoever it is, I'm going to do this other way. That was me as a kid. The harder I got pushed, the opposite I went. There's a lot of real to that. It's so much real to that. And all those people seem to go lower than anybody before they thrive, right? As soon as he thrives, as soon as he gets it all his way, he'll show everybody what's up. That's what I believe. He's got a plan for sure. That kid could be a comedian like that. A stand-up comedian, you got no idea. Like, I think he could take the world with that.
Yeah, he's a
whip, dude.
Yeah, he is super intelligent, and since he was little, he's been, you know, he's never been afraid to be up on stage or in front of people, or like he hasn't had that fear, that insecurity.
Yeah.
And he's really smart and funny. He's going to do something. And I have no idea what it is. I doubt he even has any idea, but it's whatever it does, when it does click for him, it's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, it'll be big.
Are you married?
Yes, I am married. I've been married for 17 years. My beautiful wife, Morgan, she makes everything possible for me to go. I travel and work and get to go where I want to go, and she makes sure all the rest of it's taken care of. You know, she's got a lot on her plate, and yeah, I really appreciate her for what she does.
It sounds like she means a lot to you.
Yeah, she does, and it takes a very special kind of woman to stay married to a lineman. And
Boy,
we're definitely really, I guess, sometimes hard to be around.
we all share a lot of that same similar discontent in our heart for holding still. We all have the same, I don't even know how you put it to words. We want to do stuff. Every fucking one of us are wired like that. Sitting still gets you fired. You lose your job. You will get shit canned like that for it. So we're always like, there's always things like, oh, I'm not weird. I am weird for sure. I'm an extreme to the end of that for sure. But we're all very similar to the way I operate, where it just, you can't hold still. You got a lot to do, a lot to get done, man, a lot to get done. If you're holding still in a line crew, they will you are done. You will find something to do always, or they get rid of you. So it's wired into us from a young age to just roll. If you're holding still, you're fucking in trouble.
Well, sometimes I fail to remember that they're not just part of my crew.
I'm not your fucking apprentice. You've heard that before.
Yeah, yeah. You don't need to talk to me like an apprentice or a groundman. Yeah. The kids aren't gonna listen to you like that either. Like, oh. Well,
and how deep of a subject is that, though? If these people, and they do, our women understand it, I think, throughout time. But seriously, think about that, how we're wired. And I think if the shoe gets flipped and we're understood a little more than just taken for that, I think it's really deep right there. Like, the meaning out of that is so pure. We don't mean to hurt anybody. It's just all we know. We think on impulse. We think quickly. We react quickly. We don't. Let me think about this little issue. It's like, get your fucking shit, whatever it is, it's quick. It's quick. It's quick. They don't see it that way because nobody else understands how we think. That's how we think, or people die. If you hesitate doing something when it's shit hits the fan, people are dying. There's stuff you can't, right? There's you have no time. You have to react. So that bleeds into our relationships unbelievably. So a lot of us turn to substance abuse to check the fuck out of our madness in our head. People don't understand the madness in our heads from this. It's a hard lifestyle, and it's not talked about enough, and I think it's real. And we think, that's my idea, is we think very quickly. There is no right or wrong. It's this way. Because if I'm in the air, it's my way, or you're going to die. Well, she's just in the air with me all the time is what we would think, right? She's just with me. You have to follow my lead. you're my inferior at some point. It doesn't matter who you are, if it's a kid or if it's a wife or a friend. It just comes out of us all the time if we don't consciously think about it. And I'm working through it now. I'm now done with line work, so I'm actually seeing all that very firsthand. It's hard when you're in it to ever see it. It's how you think. It's how you are. It's how you are. It's how you think. It's how your brain ticks. And there's no substitute because bad things happen when you think. If that helps clarify it, I hope that's real. I hope people feel that. So our spouses suffer a little bit of that for sure because we're very impulsive, very quick thinkers.
You said people turn to substance abuse. Is that a big thing in lineman work? Is it like known that people are maybe doing drugs, alcohol, those type of things?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's probably far more than anybody would notice or admit that it's alcohol definitely has always been like a staple. Like it used to be, well, it's still kind of the same way. You're not really a lineman unless you've got a DUI, been divorced, been fired, wrecked your truck. It's
been to jail.
Yeah, had a substance abuse problem. Yeah, if you're not an alcoholic or a drug addict, because there's a lot of stress. There is stress. Even, it was way more stress in the beginning for me, trying to learn and get through it, and because I wanted it. But it is a very stressful thing to go through. And even though I'm continuously trying to improve and get better, like it still gets stressful. There's still.
And the problem with the stressful part is it's repressed, right? You don't tell everybody you're tripping.
Oh,
hey Joe, I'm having a rough time. You fucking hammer through whatever that is. You shut your mouth. You do your job. You put your boots on. You get to work. We hide it. We repress that stress. After work, I'm getting fucked up, man. I want to calm down. I want to chill out. I think that leads to what you said right there.
Yeah.
It's a huge part. You don't talk about it. Soldiers don't cry. Linemen don't cry. Same thing. You're like, you ain't going to talk about this. You're scared to death. You don't say that. They'll eat you alive. You're known as a tough guy. Just listen to the way I talk that way still. We have that. That's who we are. It's like so certain of everything. No, I'm not, man. I've just wired to think that way and made myself that way. So, right. It's after we end up having to be a human at the end of the day and turn it off. And I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah. It's really hard. Cause I know that I know when you're working long hours every single day and it's stressful every single fucking day, it wears on you. And if you have no way to release it, you don't necessarily have enough time to go after work, do anything that you really want to do recreationally. It's basically work and then get ready for work again most of the time. In contracting, that's how I feel about contracting. It's a little bit different, with utilities and stuff, because you can have that time off. But like where I choose to work as much as I can, it's hard to find any sort of break from it.
You get what you put into it, right?
Yeah.
You take off time, you're not paid.
Yeah.
You work, you get what you pay, and then it becomes a endless loop of chasing that badass dollar because we're out of town, and you may as well work your dink off while you're out of town.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm not at home, I just want to be working as many hours as I can. And
it's very human to want to check out and relax and have a little fun. So most of us can't come home, run to the whatever, hunt, fish. You don't have even that time. You come home, slam a bunch of beers and try to get a little loopy, pass out, get up, do it again, repeat. And you find out years down the road with this pretty serious problem that you now are just maintaining a problem.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys are constantly on the road. So even if you wanted to do something about it, it sounds like it would be extremely hard because you're by yourself at the end of the night.
Impossible. And how dare you admit to somebody you're scared or have a problem? Linemen don't do that. And it's not talked about enough. We're the toughest exterior humans you'll ever meet when we are absolutely just like everybody else. And we hurt, and we're scared, and we're everything else, but you will never know that. And it is horrible for relationships. It's horrible on relationships. But it's part of it's almost 100% necessary to survive in our craft with that. I don't think it's truly that way, but that's what we're trained to think. That's how we're trained to think. And I know it sounds weird. I'm sure it sounds more brutal than it really is. I'm absolutely not lying a bit about it. It's real. very real, and it's not talked about. It's beyond any boot camp. It's beyond any soldier training. It is fucking real. Like, we're trained to think that way. It's really, bitch about it. Go ahead and see what happens. You hurt? Good. Get up that pole again then. Do you fall? Good. Get up that pole. And we just worked.
You guys are OGs in this thing, you know, like you guys talk about how you guys used to get slapped around and things like that, and it kind of hardened you guys, right? Like, but on the flip side, you guys both have dealt with everything that we talked about, right? Substance abuse, being away from your family, having relationship issues, right? All that shit. How do you guys feel about maybe more mental health awareness in your guys' line of work? Like, is that something that could happen, or does it have to be the way that it is?
What do you think?
Well, I think there could definitely be some more push for it. I know we typically have pretty good insurance, and they have a really good mental health like benefits for talking to counselors or substance abuse problems and all of it. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good programs, but it's not really pushed until somebody gets to where they're doing stuff on the job or get fired or whatever based off of their problems, whether it's alcohol or drugs. Then a lot of times then they're forced into these things, but it's not pushed quite as much, as preventative.
Before it's a problem.
Yeah.
You're already fired. And then you're going to the next thing and you fall in the same loop again.
Yeah, you lose 3 jobs in a row and then, or lose your CDL.
So it totally needs to be a thing. Where they're trying that though, right? Apprentices are reaching out more. They're saying how they feel. What is that creating? Look at what's happening. It's taken, for lack of a better word, it's taken the edge out of it, of who we are, of how. So it's changed. It is changing right now. They have a voice now. You had this much voice when we were apprentices. You spoke if you were spoken to, and maybe even not then. You're physically taken care of if you did things. You were physically handled. There was no two ways about it. That's just the way it is. That's the way it was, and it's truly the way it was. I've been slammed into more bin doors and, just handled. You cannot do that now. I did it a few times still, and anyway. I think there's a good balance there, you know what I mean? But it was so designed to shake the people that need to be there, because there's a piece of that needs to be addressed. It's a very complex issue. A lot of us have no time for that either, though. You can't take that time off. You can't take the time off. You think you'll get fired for it. It's so complex. If you as an apprentice, if you say anything, you're gonna have a rough road. You can't talk, man. They don't speak out like that. You're not gonna tell your problems. You're not gonna. So I think as apprentices to apprentices, I think that would be healthy for them to help each other and talk amongst themselves and stuff. But after work, they have no time. It's a very interesting craft. It takes every bit of what you can do just to live through it. Yeah. But I don't know. So I don't know how you'd construct that other than a pre-apprenticeship thing with a cool. I've talked to Ryan Lucas about it before, the podcast we were on, mentoring and helping, spread the word of how this works. We could definitely do something like that, but it's very difficult. It's hard, and I think it's good that it's hard. It's hard for a reason. So I don't know that I would ever want it to change from what it was truly, but I know it needs to a little bit.
But it sounds like you could possibly save some lives if you did, right? It sounds like there is an opportunity there. It might not be I don't know what it is, right? I'm just kind of throwing it out there, but it sounds like there is room for somebody to come on camp or whatever, the job site, and just check in on people. Yo, how you doing? Yeah. Like, what's going on? Let's chat for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, you're having a baby, you're gonna be gone for a while. Like, are you nervous about this? Like, having these type of conversations. Your son is back home, got hurt. Let's talk about this.
You lose your apprenticeship over these things. When I went through my apprenticeship, there was zero of this. I missed 2 funerals. If I could have went to the funeral. I was told that you go to that funeral, my great grandma and grandpa both, you will have a hold. They'll put you back in your apprenticeship. Go to it, have it at it, man. But this is your priority. If you leave from Glenwood Springs, you will have a hold on your apprenticeship where they hold your time. And all you can think about is your career. That's how we were trained to think. It's weird, man. So I think a lot of that's shaken out and it's going away. But there's an edginess to that too. That's pretty. I think you're okay as you season and you grow through it. Like, I don't know. It's a rough road, and I think it's a lot of it's necessary, beautifully necessary. The ones that make it are the chosen few. It was a thing. You made it because you made it. It was elite. You were an elite thing. You weren't just another job. You were held to a higher standard you were the elite soldiers. You weren't just soldiers. It was weird. That's how I see it always.
It used to be less than 50%, wasn't it? That could make it all the way through.
Yeah, I think my class had me and Alex. He was here on the last episode or two ago. We topped out. There was 3 of us that topped out. I think there was 30 of us that took the test. That's how it was, man. It was gnarly. Cool. Made it all the way to the thing. So your apprenticeship is what, 4 years long usually? 3 or 4 years long. Back in my day, you could challenge it quick. You could speed it up if you could handle it. We did that. But yeah, there's only 3 of us that made it through that class entirely. And you were just, there's something about that. The pride. You could feel Alex even when he's here talking too, right? We're different people, prideful. But you can hear that we're broken. There's problems there, but acknowledging that is all part of it. So yeah, I don't know how you would fix it. It would be hard to say, but they're trying to just allow people to say what they need to say, and it's causing a ruckus for sure. It's causing huge instability where it doesn't belong. Apprentices rocking the boat for sure, and getting a lot of people in companies going down because of it, and HR problems, and he called me this and that. It's taking shit apart big time. So a lot more rights in that realm is really causing an issue. But so it is getting addressed. I just don't know. I'm out of it now, so I'm good. I'm good on all that. I needed to get out because I'm very much held the old standard in my heart of this is just the way it is, my man, and you're going to enjoy this. Respect is much different than pulling somebody apart too, though. I had a good respect with people. I would treat people with respect, not fear. You've
been out of it for, just about a year coming up.
Yeah.
It's almost been about a year.
Yep.
What's if you were to get back into the field and, just the what ifs, right? Yeah. What's one thing that, or maybe a couple things that you might want to change going back into that field, even with yourself? Like, what are some things where you're like, I won't do that again?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't even think there is anything. I would hold true to me, with no plan, with no. I would have less of a plan. I would have less of an idea. I would just go at it even harder the way I'd always had went about it. I don't think I would ever change a thing other than how it's going right now. I always held true to me to the second I walked out of that door, and this man knows that. I pushed the hardest I could all the way through, and I never quit pushing. So I don't know that I would change a thing of it. It's still dear in my heart. That craft always will be. It's tattooed everywhere across my body. I love it. It's so much a part of what I am. I don't think any of us shake it. Most of us die doing it. Don't retire. If you do retire, you can't walk. You got no knees. I don't think I would change a thing, man. I really don't. I would go back just who I am, a little more understanding of what I am is all. And it would just be organically what that would be. I wouldn't have any idea of something that I would do differently at all. I'd be the same guy. I think most people that have met me through that career would say that I held to that. I was who I was always without waver. I think a lot of us are that way. You know who people are, man. The good ones were known. The guy, he's the same all the time. What would you do? Say you bounced out of there. What would you do going back in?
Exactly the same. I would go straight back in the same way. It's to see you coming back in. Like, don't. I would be there in a heartbeat. Just so you know, as soon as that happened, I better get a call because wherever he wants to go, that's where we're going. We had such a good time.
We did, man.
But it's the culture's changing so fast. It would be really, really hard for us to do line work and enjoy line work the way that we used to do.
And that's something I would never give up. That's why I wouldn't be willing to change a thing. I'd go back in with that same culture that I helped cultivate. I was part of a movement back in my time. We were the few. There was a few is all back then. There wasn't many of us that come through my era. I don't know how yours was, but our era of linemen, there was few. They were quality people, man. Just all of them now run things. Alex, for instance, he was here. He runs things. They're all big bosses. They've all stepped up into their, they run everything. And I always stayed in my lane. I was always just, up to a foreman or a GF. I was always just with people. I had to do that. But, I would never change a thing. I'd go back in with that same raw grit that I've always had. So I don't know. It's hard to shake a lineman. It doesn't go away. You stay stuck in your patterns. It's like, not patterns, but you're what you are. It's hard to show us new things and give us new ideas of how things go. It's just, they just work. The line work is still done the same way it was done hundreds of years ago, basically. The tools have gotten a little better, but it's still the same thing. And they're trying to add crazy safety stuff to it where it's still, we're doing it the same way still. Everything's still doing the same thing. We're still setting poles. There's still the same stuff. It's not like the craft hasn't changed, but the safety part of it is, and it's really fucks with a lot of the older guys.
I was going to ask you, in most fields and most lines of work, a lot of stuff is being automated, right? Computers are taking shit over. Yeah. Do you guys see that happening with you guys, or is it still ground, like guys on the ground, guys in the air kind of thing?
Well, a lot of the switching and the grid and stuff it's all becoming automated, which back to that, the whole terrorist thing you're talking about, like if they were going to go after the power grid, it would be attacking like SCADA systems, because everything now is moving towards being remote operated, switches, everything.
Being able to switch and isolate between things in subs, they can do it all with the computer.
Yeah, but that's pretty much as far as automated. There's that. There's some of the newer equipment coming out that's, like Par's robotic arm and stuff. It's still operated by a person, but it's it's a whole other tool that does quite a bit more than a lot of the stuff that we'd have to do off the structure. You could do it all with a piece of equipment.
I don't think you could ever automate fixing and maintaining a power line. I don't think it's even possible, from the terrain being so incredibly unpredictable to the elements to the everything linemen deal with is completely unpredictable. Almost 100% of everything we touch is unpredictable. All the way down to everything, to every second is unpredictable with us. It's really bizarre if you think about it. And we're always stacked into the weirdest things, whatever the worst of worst or best of best. It's all the way to the weather. Nothing's going in our favor. The terrain, it's far from ideal ever. It's always in a funky little, so we learn to live and be happy right there. I don't think you could automate that in the way it would, to say, have robots fix it, or, AI. I think there's way too much unpredictability in it for it to ever do that, in my opinion. If humans are building power line stuff, I don't think there's any way for us to and have something else handle what we do. It's too there's never two things ever even close to the same.
Anytime you talk about your brothers, right, your lineman brothers, I never hear like a woman be brought up. Like, are there line women, and how like is it common to have a line woman?
Have you ran into any out there?
The only one, just when I was an apprentice.
Yeah,
that's the only one I've ever worked with.
I know a few of them. It's very rare though. Yeah, but I know 3 or 4 of them, women. But yeah, it's pretty rare.
So is there a reason though? Like, is it just rough, tough, just not like
straight up rough, tough to the nines? It's not doing push-ups and sit-ups and then I always refer to the military thing because we have a lot of like military guys that come, like, Marines and stuff like that. Do all of those things, add up all of the physical, unbelievable things they do. Now do it where you're off the ground your whole life, and that is a whole new element to things. I'm not saying women are afraid of that at all, but for some reason, obviously there's something there where it's not just physical, it's the unbelievable, most mental strain you will ever put anybody through is what we do. Just being in the area, what we do will scare, most people won't even go in the air in heights at all. Now you're going to lose your life. Your buddies are going to die. Your wife, it doesn't matter if your phone's ringing, if she's pissed at you, everything stops and you live up there. This is my life. So if people understood the way we think that way, it's very intense, and we're very intense people for that. So I don't know if that craft, makes that more of a thing. I would imagine it's a different human being for sure.
And I was doing a remote for the radio station over in Draper, Sandy area, and they had these big ass fucking power lines. I was gonna send you a picture of it, but you just hear the humming.
Yeah,
I could only imagine if you guys are up next to that shit. Like, man, that scares the fuck out of me.
We do it. That's how we work. We should dig up the grounding video quick and show them the grounding video.
Fuck that, man.
The one I
I watch these videos. I watch just looking up, and I just hear. I'm like, yeah, if you touch that shit, you gonzo.
It's pretty cool. I have a badass video. We can put it on the camera if you want. I can show it to you. It's intense as hell. Being a lineman is the most rewarding thing in the world, but it's the hard for a person. It's the best thing you'll ever do. For everything around you, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's dedication. Everything you dedicate you to it. It's not a job. If you do it right, if you do it the way you have it in our hearts, the way we hold it, you do it. It's you. It is what you are. It's your life. It's your everything. Linemen talk about line work. We drive people fucking crazy. It's all we want to think about.
I think it's so interesting.
You. It's everywhere in here. Yeah, that's all we talk about. Wives know what cutouts are, and you're like, hey, I built this line. I built that line. The pride in a lineman's heart is so fucking insane. And we're all that way. Every one of us.
Can we touch a power line?
Very complex question. No. The answer is no.
Well, because you see birds, right? How are birds able to just chill on a power line?
How is that, Joe?
And not burn up?
Because they have no path to ground, or they're not completing the path between the power line and the ground, or the line and another line. If you're only touching that wire, then yeah, you can touch a power line.
The problem is with humans how you got to that wire. Yeah. If you could fly to it like a bird does, you could sit on it like a bird does. You getting to it is the problem. Ladder, truck, whatever that vehicle was that got you to that power line is what's going to kill you. You're now a path to ground for that current to flow.
So as long as you're touching one, you're good. If I fall out the sky, just grab one.
Yes.
Don't grab nothing else.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Yes, that's true. Any voltage, even at any voltage.
Do you feel electricity going through you?
Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be so fucking weird.
There's still very little testing to understand what it's done to us. They still don't know. We're just dying. Nobody knows. I think it's really hard on us. I really do. There's so many unknowns in the electrical world that it's insane. What some of us go through, like what CJ went through. I've been through it. I think everybody's been hit a few times, but some of us have got hit really hard and we're still alive, and it's hard to explain why, but I don't think we'll ever know the damage it does until the end when your kidneys are failing.
I still want to do, that's on my list of things to do in my career is the live line barehanding.
Yeah.
Working on
Hold on, what's that? Take us through that. What's that?
So that's working on energized transmission lines, to do all of the same work that we would do de-energized, with the power shut off, and you can do it safely with the power still on, but like it involves a lot of stuff like a Faraday suit, which is like a big mesh suit, so that you maintain that you're at the same potential, same voltage as the power line, and whether it's out of like insulated buckets or working off of ladders or helicopters. That's the one I really want to do is from a helicopter, but it's
now you're the bird.
Yeah.
Now you're a bird. So now you can do that.
Yeah. There's some pretty neat videos, like helicopter flying in close, and then you use a wand to bond the helicopter to the same potential as the power line. And then you can climb right off of it onto the power line, helicopter fly away, or you're working on the skid on the edge of on the legs of the helicopter, whether you're doing like aerial balls or changing out dampeners and stuff like that. But it's part of one of the things I want to do in my career is some barehanding.
You'll do it.
That and possibly like the rope access stuff.
You charge your phone while you're up there? Just hold on to the line. Hold on to your phone.
It does some weird shit
Yeah.
to your phones. It can do stuff. It drains them fast. It's weird. It's very interesting the way it works. As long as you're either part of it or to work on it, to do anything with it, you have to be the same as a bird, or completely isolated from it, but working on it with things that keep you isolated from it, where you're not part of it. You're insulated from it. You're not it, but you're working on it with things that don't allow that to transfer between you, whether it be gloves or sticks or there's a couple ways to do it, but there's so many ways around things, but there's only a couple ways you really can do it, or you are not even going to think about living through it. There's zero forgiveness. There's no mistake.
I mean, when I heard those power lines humming, I'm like, yeah, that's unforgiving. Like, that will cook you.
It's unbelievable. When you drive under it and your radio quits working, your phones go shit, you lose service, your TVs sound funny. We're up working in that. We're working around that, and we're working through it. We're touching it. We're part of it. I can't wait to see some of the effects some of us have, but who knows?
That's crazy.
Yeah, all the induction. Like, you don't even have to be, you're just in the vicinity on the higher voltages, and like whether you're climbing a pole or the steel or whatever, it sits there, it charges your body up just being in the vicinity, and everything you touch that's grounded or a different potential or anything, it's sitting there biting you the whole time. Like, you're hearing it, you're feeling it, every little bare spot in your skin, or like if you're wearing gloves, your gloves, it'll leak through your gloves, and
you're stuck in this position. So you wonder why we are who we are. That's why we're the way we are. There is no sissy la la about it. Like, you get it, you do it. It makes a tougher dude out of you, right? You got to put up with it. You got to get through it. And we're different people. It's weird. Different breed. Nobody talks about it. Nobody knows about it.
Yeah, man.
It's cool, and we should do more Powerline stuff. I just don't have a lot of Powerline dudes that want to come on and do this. So it's pointless for me to talk about it, because it's cool to vibe on it with others instead of.
It's interesting. I feel like I just walked through National Geographic,
It's
but
the most beautiful craft there is, man. It's dope as hell. I miss it greatly.
I like your shirt, by the way.
oh, thank you. It's my favorite Highline tattoo shirt. I don't know if you've heard of those guys.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're in West Point, Utah.
Yeah, do they accept appointments?
Yeah, you better get in now if you want to get in next year.
It's real.
That's a first edition, right?
That's the first shirt I made right there. Yep.
That's dope, man.
I made those ones with I called the place and had him rock them and roll them, and he still got one of them. There's not many out there.
I ain't gonna lie, because you're working on some more designs, and when I seen it, I was like, what? They switched the design. Because the newer ones are totally different than what those ones are. And so I was like, what? They already got them? That shit's dope, man.
Yeah, we're working.
Especially your first one.
We're working on the old one, or the design with them. We need to get that happening. That's a long story. But yeah, I'm trying to keep merch fresh and new and weird and always changing, and that's how I like to roll, just like line work was.
So did you guys know each other before Highline Tattoo became a thing?
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, how did that?
Before any of the business here, yeah.
When did we meet? Was it 2000 and?
I just went through this the other day with Vinny.
It was like, I can't remember the dates.
13 or 14. I think he was.
So Highline was a
thing. He was
thing.
in 2012, 2014.
Highline was a thing in 2011.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Well, I just met him through. He'd come on the job to come work for me. He came to work for me as a lineman, and it was a fusion from that day on. We followed me everywhere. We went after that. We drug and went here, drug went there, just following jobs all over the country. That's what it was all about, and we did a lot of that.
Yeah.
What's an embarrassing story about Junior that nobody knows?
Send it. I'm trying to think what you would say.
Or maybe not even embarrassing, but what's a memorable moment?
Anything.
Maybe on the job site.
Send it.
And does he really not wear underwear?
He definitely does not wear underwear.
Thank you.
There's a number.
Nor does Mac.
Nor does Mac. Yeah, there's a number of them that don't, and sometimes things happen. Mac ripped his crotch out of his pants, and all day long we had to look at Max crotchless pants.
God, it was so much fun.
Oh, right in your face.
Because you're always looking up. If
Yeah,
you're on
like,
the ground, you're looking up all day.
How about you trade me spots, Mac?
What is the story? You got anything?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of stories.
Oh, fuck, they're long.
The first one that comes to mind was you getting baseball batted in the face with that jib down in Texas.
Did I get baseball batted with a jib?
What's a jib?
Well, okay, so the jib's it's like a little mini crane, a boom with a winch, and it's on a bucket. We were trying to pull an H structure on top of a pole over, which is so that we could pin the arm, because whatever reason we were a little bit narrow, or the drilling was off on the top. It was something like that. The drilling was off for the static bracket. It's another piece going across the top. So he had the jib tied to the pole from the bucket, and he was pulling away from it. Well, we didn't always pin that jib so that it would swing around. I don't know. You don't remember this?
No.
Oh my God. It was one of the scariest things.
Oh.
I thought it ripped your head off. Like I was shocked that, like, cause it happened so fast. There was so much strain on it. And, the jib itself, the winch line wasn't pinned in the end. And so it straightened itself out and spun all the way around. And it was like,
that's right.
It was like Major League Baseball bat to the face.
I do remember that.
And this thing's metal.
It's fiberglass. It's a fiberglass square it's probably about like that big around, and then,
Holy
3 feet
shit.
long.
It'd be the equivalent of, I don't even know how you could explain it. Taking a 4-inch piece of fucking whatever and just hard as I could swing it.
A 4x4 treated
at your face.
post. Yeah,
it's gnarly. That's cool. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was actually about the only one I can really think of for you.
Oh God, falling off the thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I watched him fall off a 3-pole, off a pole, and he probably dropped 25 feet.
It's pretty gnarly
Before he hit the X braces that are on go between the poles.
Bro, if those wouldn't have been there,
yeah, it'd have been all the way to the ground, and then all the way down that hill, and then all the way off the cliff, and all the way onto I-80.
That would have been bad. That's a bad one.
Yeah.
Those X braces caught me.
So you got caught in that thing.
I fell. There's X braces, I'll show you on that thing when we're done, but climbing several poles, and they're tied with these wooden braces between them, and I fell from the top down to the bottom thing. I missed the top one, and I hit the bottom one somehow, and it hung me up inside there, and I would have went all the way to the ground. That was a nasty fucking spot too.
So what happens then? Do you just it's all on you? You have to get yourself out of that predicament?
I got up out of there, and nobody even heard it. He's seen it. Nobody else seen it or heard it. I got up and went right back up to the top, right where I belonged, and went to work. I can't remember what I was doing, dead ending. Didn't matter.
End of the day, though, do you tell your wives about these things? I fell 25 feet today.
Yeah, I tell her.
Sometimes.
She knows. My wife knows. She knows everything. I tell her everything.
If I told Tressa how many times I'm not even, I'll say it after this because it will just stress her out. But
yeah,
I just feel like there is a lot of things that you say confidently, I tell her everything. But to me, it's like, I don't think I would tell my wife that I fell 25 feet.
That's okay though.
That's scary, man. Especially when she's not there. Can you imagine her mind just racing?
There's a lot of stuff she doesn't know too. Like she didn't ask though. If a lot of times if I'm not going to the hospital, she doesn't know. No, I don't call her right away and tell her. Absolutely not. But if I'm hurt and I'm fucking hobbling in the next day and she's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" I just tell her. That's all I mean. Definitely don't call her right away. When the bundle fell and chopped my arm off up here, and that was a bad deal too. If you go to the hospital, several times that happened. She has to. I tell her for sure. A lot of close calls, man.
Yeah, near misses.
Yeah, a lot of them. Linework's full of that. Scariest one I ever had was a helicopter coming in. That was with that hat you're wearing. We come in and it's so hard to explain. I was standing on the outside of the helicopter on the skid, and we were getting ready to do a transfer where I walk from the helicopter to the structure to do some work. And as soon as I went to step off of there, I've had 2 of them, gnarly ones. I won't say his name. He hooked the tower, didn't see it. I seen it. I turned to scream at him. And before I could get to him, he panicked. The helicopter's like a boat in the air. If I get off the helicopter and push it, you can push the helicopter. They're like a boat. They float on water. They're floating in the air. It's bizarre. And they're very easy to move. You can just push them with your finger and it'll throw them off key. And so he was hung under this tower and didn't realize it. And he was trying to get away from me and pop away. When that fucking helicopter finally, he had too much upstrain on his skid to, instead of coming down and just pulling out of there, he panicked and lifted up. And I was still halfway on that skid and halfway not. When he popped up out of that thing, oh boy, Jesus. Like, we have lots of these things happen.
Did it pull the pole out of the ground?
No, big lattice tower. No.
Oh.
It just shook the living Christ everything and threw me in. It was a bad deal. But a lot of these close things for sure have happened. Been drug across them with lanyards from one end to the other, still strapped to the helicopter. Because we used to just get off the helicopter, stand on the structure, let them leave, and then hook in. But they had this big push against what I wanted to lean down, hook to the tower, and then unhook from the helicopter. Now you're in between 2 things. If one of them fails, you're in trouble. He's going to pull your body in 2 pieces. And that almost happened to me. Never again would I hook to the helicopter. You undo from the helicopter and you step off. You don't reach out and hook to anything. Yeah, I was still hooked to the helicopter, and when he pulled away, he thought I was off. And I reached back to grab my lanyard, and he took off, and I was on the tower. And he fucking drugged me all the way across the top of that tower. That should have killed me. Ray was there. Ray Jimison was there. I was showing him how to transfer. I was teaching him how to get off the helicopter. And, he drugged me clear across the structure. It should have just tore my body in 10 million pieces. But a lot of these things happen, and you just don't talk about them if you don't go to the hospital, because you really forget about it. You just get going again and don't worry about it. When you can't walk when you get home is where it gets tricky. And they ask, I'll tell her. If she wants to know, I'll tell her. But a lot of it, you just kind of work through it. You don't even think much about it. You break your finger, and you just kind of keep going.
Could have died, but you didn't.
Yeah, we don't hang up in the coulda, wouldas. There's really not much time for that. You just kind of got to get that done. And your absence is a big problem to the crew, and then you strive through those things.
Yeah. My wife, Morgan, she doesn't most of the time want to know.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm hurt, of course she wants to know, but she doesn't like hearing, any of the near-death, near-life experiences all day long. It's like, it might not happen every day, but sometimes it seems like there is something every day that could be potentially.
Well, people don't realize the catastrophicness of what's happening too. We'll just play it off. We just kind of did this, kind of did that. It's fucking gnarly and it's scary, and we kind of don't see it that way. It's just part of what we do, so it's okay. It's just, I fell today. How far did you fall? It's like, I fell. I don't know. It's irrelevant. I'm here. We're good.
Yeah, and
the catastrophicness of it is very downplayed.
Most of the time, yeah. And you always learn, you tend to learn something every single time, but shit still happens. But
you play with fire, you get burnt. It's real.
Yeah, like the guys that, I don't know, I think the guys that don't have anything happen to them are guys that aren't up there doing it. Because there's the guys out there that aren't up in it as much as others. I like to be a part of everything. That's why it seems like I'm always the one getting the little tiny injuries or the near hits and all of this. But I love it so much. I want to do all of it. I want to do every part of it. And so I'm always have my hands in it. I'm always up there. I'm never, I try never to be the guy that's, not part of it. And the gnarlier it is, the more I like it, the more I want to be in it. I'm not as very good at watching other people do line work. I'm very good at working with other people to do line work, but like watching other people do it is really hard.
Oh yeah. That's why I just stayed a foreman all the time. I can still be in it.
Yeah.
Everybody has their place.
Yeah. And it is like, not everybody can be a foreman. Not everybody can be the guy in the air.
Yep.
There's people find where their spot is. There's nothing. You got to have guys on the ground too. So if you got a guy that likes to be on the ground, then I mean that's an asset to have too. It's just
As an apprentice, you are in the air always.
yeah.
If you guys are not, get your asses in the air. That's where you belong.
Yeah, if you're not in the air, then you've obviously done something wrong. Somebody's pissed at you, or you're not cutting it, and they just don't even want you there.
And in my day, that was said immediately. There was no wonder.
Yeah,
You were shit canned like that.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
now they coddled them.
It's
It's
definitely a kinder, more gentler trade.
The world's going that way. It just is.
Yeah,
I don't know if I love it. I'm out of it, so I have no more to say about it. I'm okay and out of it. I left on my terms. Oh, boy.
yeah. Well, you left
The
right.
ticket's hung up. Did I tell you that?
I heard that. Yeah,
It's honorably discharged. The CDL has lapsed. I'm done. I backed out of it. I pulled out. Hopefully forever. If it's forever.
oh yeah.
It's forever. I got to be all in, baby.
All or nothing.
It's hard to kind of do it. You got to do it.
Yeah,
I think it's hard when, like, for me, I could retire from DJing, but then I can go and throw a party, right? And I could DJ anytime I want.
Yep.
You can't just go and do lineman shit
No.
no more. You have to be in it to do it, right?
Yep.
And your heart, that's you. It's in your blood,
I'm
right?
telling you.
That's rough.
It's the hardest thing I've went through.
That's tough.
I'm going through it right now, and it's hard for me to ever say that. And we've talked a lot about it. It's hard. I'm really struggling with it for sure. I'm good with it, and I understand it, and I want that, but it's still hard to go through.
What if you go back and, I mean, now you're the old man, so
Yeah.
like, what if you go back and you can't hang? Like, do you accept it? Do you accept a new role?
What would I say to that?
I don't think so.
I have this.
I don't think that he would not be able to hang. He would be able to. He would make that happen. I don't.
That's what I was trying to say without just saying that. There's definitely none of that. Not a stitch of it. The person you see right here is that guy there times 9,000. Very, very in it. There would be, I can hang. To the day I die, if I'm alive, I could hang. I could get it. I could still do it. I think most linemen with their heart there could still get it. Not as fast, but I still get it.
So my dad, he just turned 69. He was retired. I think he retired from the power company, and he made it 2 years. He didn't just sit around. He had plenty of other jobs to do. He was still using his CDL and hauling gravel and doing all kinds of stuff. But he's back in it in a way where he's an inspector for PG&E, watching line crews, and it's like there's different jobs that are kind of reserved for the older linemen and stuff like that. They want linemen watching linemen, as far as what they're using the inspectors for. And he loves it. He loves still being part of the trade. He still has a belt and hooks, and I know that he still goes and messes around. He doesn't climb up and do work, but he climbs up and makes sure that he can still move around in his hooks. And I mean, the guy's got both of his hips replaced, both of his knees replaced, his elbow, shoulders, his neck. He's got rods in his neck. He's been put together several times.
It's tough on you, man.
And it's just, it wears you out. It's hard work. So like a lot of times the older guys will end up being, that's where you get that's a good spot for your foreman, safety guys. There's some spots that when you get to a certain part, or if you can't climb anymore, you still want to be in the trade. There's other places to be, but it's definitely not the same as being a lineman.
But my dumbass knows where I would end up. If I go back, I know where I'm going, and that's why I'm not doing it, because it's all or nothing. I have no more knees, and I know that. But I would still be doing it. I couldn't do what he's doing. I couldn't do it. There's no fucking way. If I'm on that line crew, I'm in it. I'd have to be in it.
Yeah.
And I know that. It's self-awareness, so I'm staying away from it. I got to stay here.
Yeah.
I couldn't go back and do that. There's no way.
It's literally the only thing I really know how to do. Like really know how to do. I mean, I can do some other stuff, but as far as a trade or career or anything, it would be so, I don't know. I wouldn't say impossible, but it would be difficult to do anything else. That's all I know. I've been doing it since I was 19. You know, I love every single part of it, and I'm going to do it for as long as I can, as long as I physically can. I mean, at the rate I'm going, that might not be very long, but, you know, I'll do it as far as I can, as far and as long as I can.
You'll be going a long ways. He's the old goat out there on the right of way now. He's the goddess. He's the goddess. He's the god. Goddess.
I found out that I'm old this year, actually. The one young lineman on the crew, young Mitch.
Getting it?
Oh, he's a good kid. He's a good lineman, first-year lineman.
Beautiful.
24 years old. And
fucking animal.
Now I'm the oldest guy on the crew. I didn't even know. I was old, getting old, until I realized that now every time I'm on a crew, I'm the oldest guy. I used to be the 24-year-old, 23-year-old lineman, just making fun of the old guys and, you know, giving them a hard time for being so damn old. And now it's all switched.
The greatest fucking job in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
If anybody ever wanted to get into it, don't even think about it. Don't even hesitate. Get in it. Try it. It's good stuff. Now you can do that.
Yeah.
I think if you hesitate, you ain't cut out for it.
That's it. There's no hesitating. It's trained in right into you. It's the way you think. And once again, going back to the relationship thing, it's that easy. That's why we struggle so badly. But it's hard for a lot of us to convey our feelings that way and express. We can't have feelings. We don't have emotions. You don't get to fucking complain. You don't get to tell people that you hurt. You don't get to say, I don't feel well today. You don't get that. Get the fuck to work and don't. Why are you sneezing over there? Was that a big sneeze?
That wasn't a sneeze. Erica farted.
She's old.
Erica farted. She can't control her bowels.
She's fucking old, bro. It's just the way it is.
The old lady farts.
It happens.
We heard about the fart. Couldn't hold it.
What's so is there a reward of being with a lineman? What's the reward for a woman to stick it out with a guy through the apprenticeship and through being a hard ass and growing old with a guy that's stuck in his ways of thinking?
Yeah, he's asking you the question, not me. What's the reward?
Is there a reward for being with a lineman?
Get their reward right now.
Get the reward right now?
Look at where I am. Look at where we are. So we got what we were going for. Is it the hardest thing you can ever do?
No.
It takes a special woman for sure. A grounded woman, a woman that's ready to be alone.
I'm not that high maintenance, so for me, no. But it was hard. I'm not saying it's not hard, but
You got to be comfortable to be alone and fight.
I was a single mom before I met him, so I was used to being alone, I guess, before I met him and doing it alone. So.
And a lot of these girls go on the road and raise their families on the road, and the kids and the dogs and all that. She always stayed grounded. She always came and visited, always, like as often as we could. But she stayed home and raised them. No, you're not dragging them kids all over the world with me.
I wasn't going to raise the kids on the road.
I said, hell no, that's horse shit.
Not in a trailer.
You didn't want a trailer?
We had a trailer.
Oh, we have a trailer.
big trailer, but
Big
not
fucking
big
trailer.
enough to live in.
Yeah, that would be hard, man.
It's the hardest life ever, but it's worth
I
every
wouldn't
second
trade
of it.
for nothing.
Yeah, it's rewarding as it can be if you want it to be. You find the rewards when you're there. That's just what you want. How long did we go? Are we going?
Hour 23 minutes.
We did a good job. Did we miss stuff? Is
Oh.
there anything anybody wants to talk about?
I could talk line work, all day long.
As we do.
Yeah. I'm never going to stop talking about it.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating fucking craft.
After work, drinking beer, whatever, we talk line work. That's what we do. We don't go home and check out. You talk with your buddies about line work. It's fucking bizarre. It doesn't go away.
I think it's beautiful. I
It
think
is.
that it's a craft we need more awareness on, and I just find it fascinating to
It's-
think about things that we're impacted by everybody. Everybody is impacted by power. Everybody.
Absolutely.
And to know where that comes from, and we don't hear about the stories about the guy that falls 25 feet, the guy that gets ripped apart from a helicopter, right? We don't hear those stories.
No, you hear about firemen and you hear about police officers and you hear about, that's what we hear about.
Yeah. And I think that we definitely need, I've always been an advocate for construction workers. Like, I feel like, without construction workers, we wouldn't have a lot of the shit that we do, right? Wouldn't have the roads,
Absolutely.
right? So it takes all this shit to fucking make this shit go, you know?
Dude's doing gas. Dude's doing, man, these people are everywhere in every craft.
Think about the sewage guys.
Yeah.
The trash guys.
Yep.
Where's all that shit go, right?
It's real.
They take care of all that shit.
I tattoo one, so we'll get her on. It's a lady. I'll get her on here.
I think it's phenomenal. We forget about those lost fucking jobs or careers that help all this shit go.
Why is it we talk about firemen and police, right? From a young age, we know who they are. We know what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else knows anything about. I've said it many times. If you give kids a picture, a crayon and some paper, 5-year-olds, they can draw you a picture of just about anybody. What a doctor looks like. Even a lawyer would look like. They'll draw certain things about a guy with a thing in his hand, with a fucking hammer, and he's a framer, whatever it is. Nobody has a clue what a lineman even looks like. There's no idea what we even are. You cannot put that in your head.
Is there I would say police officers probably have a bigger culture out east, maybe New York. I feel like they're more tight knit. They have parades. They're in parades and shit. Is there, they do that here too, but I feel like back east, it's more of a thing. Is there a region in the United States where linemen, it's like a bigger thing? Cause you don't hear about like lineman groups or anything like that here. There's no lineman appreciation day at the hockey game.
Yes, there is a lineman appreciation day. Is it the 18th?
April 18th. It's
April
on my
18th.
dad's birthday.
Is a lineman appreciation
That's
day.
crazy. It's on your father's birthday.
That just started though. That's not very old.
No, it's only a couple of years. Yeah.
That's a new holiday. A lineman appreciation day.
But is there like a town or a city or state that has bigger lineman culture than others?
I think so. I think there's smaller towns embrace it more, I guess, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like it kind of depends on, like the locals, like the unions. Like the certain areas have a much stronger and bigger group of guys. Like,
But we're definitely not celebrated. We're actually hated.
Oh yeah.
Because your power's out. We're
Yeah.
fucking hated people until we're out there for 6 days. And then on these hurricanes, we're out there for months on end and we're getting hurt because we're eating at the place. And I had a couple friends that have been killed because they were eating at Applebee's and they come out and got jumped, and because they're a piece of shit not putting on the power, they see our equipment in the parking lot eating it wherever we're eating. They have no idea that we haven't slept in fucking 3 weeks. It's the first meal we've had in 5 fucking days. We're ready to die. And we're still in there laughing, having a good time. And then we go out and we get jumped and we get the shit kicked out of us because we are not putting on that power. It happens all the time. And if you catch us on the right day, we will fuck you up. But
I believe it.
You catch us old enough, hard enough, and beat down enough, people get hurt. It's sad. It's disgusting.
I caught myself
But we don't
defending
bitch about it.
Rocky Mountain. I defended them because during the hurricane, during the big windstorm, right?
Yeah.
Social media was going crazy, right? Where's the fucking power? Blah, blah, blah. Like,
They try to find us sleeping in parking lots is what they do, and they take pictures and send them.
going crazy.
The first sleep you've had in fucking 3 weeks, and that happens all the time.
I jumped out. I was like, yo, like, you guys don't realize how much these guys do.
Nope.
Like, you guys need to have more respect. But I say that to say this. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't meet you guys.
Right.
I wouldn't, because I have no idea.
There's no awareness of it.
So I think that's where this comes into play, right?
Yeah.
Guys like I forget the gentleman's name that you were on his podcast.
Rob?
No. The
Oh,
lineman.
Ryan Lucas.
Ryan Lucas, right? Guys like that to build awareness of this culture. And I feel like if we do that, there'll be more understanding when times are rough. There'll be more understanding when you do see that person asleep or whatever the case may be. You know, you see there's always an appreciation for the delivery drivers, right? Right now, like Amazon, FedEx and stuff, you see people leaving out candy bars and shit on their doorstep for those guys because they're,
they're working their dinks off.
Exactly. But is there a way that we can do that for linemen? Like, how can we show linemen appreciation? Because it's not like we're in the middle of nowhere to do that kind of shit.
We get it every once in a while. On occasion, you'll get customers that thank you. Like ran into it working in the rain, outages over by the coast in California, and there was a lady that was offering to feed us and give us coffee and let us dry off and stuff while we were out there trying to get her power on.
And there's another complex side of that is if you pull up on the street, if somebody wants to thank a lineman and pull up on the street when we're working, they won't let you. We're almost not forceful, but we'll keep you away from everything because you could die touching the wrong vehicle. So it's hard to even get near us a lot of time when we're doing what we're doing because it's barricaded. You can't get near it, or you touch the wrong thing and you could get killed. So we're very good at keeping public away from what we're doing.
So what is the best way for us to show appreciation to do that kind of stuff?
It's a great question because we're never in the same spot either. We move, right?
Yeah, the best way would just be understanding when the power's out or for whatever reason, whether it's emergency or planned outages, like just being understanding would be about the best way.
I think the beautiful piece of it is we don't even need it. I think most of us would say we don't even want it. We don't want the recognition. We don't even want you to know we're out there. We just assume you not know about it.
Yeah.
So being hidden from it, I think, is okay. What do you got? What are you doing?
Well, I was just going to say this is something people could do because JB Line Stuff on Instagram reached out to us. Her name's Jennifer. And so last year she started sending linemen like crews like appreciation bags. So she asked us to donate some stuff. So I was actually this week I need to ship her some stickers and stuff. But people could maybe do something like that.
Yeah, so get on social media and start hunting up some of this stuff. Yeah, you'd have to really dig for it. It's not something you can go say hi and shake our hand kind of thing. We're never in the same spot. We move too much. Because if you do come up and we're on the street, we're going to ask you to step aside. It's very simple. You can't come up to us. Support our rodeos. I mean, you just have to get involved. We have local rodeos in the June, right? So,
but if people were to send like goodie bags or care packages, I guess what would be helpful for line crews?
God, we have everything we need. Very simple. I don't even know. Just a simple, how's it going? Is great. I swear to God, it is. Just a wave and a nod and just, you guys are awesome is plenty for a lineman. We don't need anything.
But if you're on a storm crew and you get a goodie bag and it has Highline tattoo
Socks.
stickers in it and stuff, is that gonna
socks, long johns? It'd have to be, it'd have to
socks.
be very wherever you are. If you're in down deep south, in the hot and the heat, right? You'd have to know where we're at. It's so weird.
We should do custom Highline tattoo socks for linemen.
Yeah. I don't know. Sleep. Can you send us sleep? See what I mean? What would we need? You really don't. It's hard to do that. Like, there's nothing it's too. Just be happy to us. That's it. Smile at them. Say what's up. Offer them coffee. If we're in the backyard working, it happens all the time. They'll bring us stuff. That's cool. If someone's in your yard, that's how you show appreciation. Say something to them. I don't know how you would. I have no idea what you would
Bring
say.
them a chicken burrito.
Donate to something. Start a GoFundMe. I don't know what you would do. We don't need anything. We're very simple people usually.
I could go for chicken burrito.
Chicken burrito. Linemen are always hungry, thirsty. I don't know. We really don't. I don't require anything. I'd rather people even not know what I'm up to.
Yeah. If they were
Just a thank you and a honk. Sometimes that's so dope when they go under you and they're like, "Thank you," and they honk. Fuck, I love that.
Or anybody, like any of the landowners, customers. I know that we're not always the most liked, or people don't want their property torn up and they don't want people on their property and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, especially out in California, I've noticed that the majority of the customers and the homeowners are not happy. They're not happy with PG&E and over the fires and all the stuff that's happened, but they make it tougher on us. They intentionally try to make it so we can't go through access to get to the power lines. So
Yeah.
then it requires, a lot more different equipment, whether we got to get tracked equipment or we got to use the helicopter, because people won't let you get through their property to maintain these lines. But then,
When I would say 85-90% of us would leave things better than we ever found them anyway. Most linemen are that way. If we're coming into your place, we're going to make it nicer than when we left there. So just relax. Let us get in there, get our job done, and we'll make you happy. If they don't, it's like a few sour things have just made it shitty for everybody. But 99% of us want to do the right thing, man. We're gonna do it the right way for them.
Do linemen get conjugal visits?
What's conjugal visit? like
you're away from your spouse for so many weeks, months, whatever. Like, do you guys bring the wife out, get your relief,
yeah,
bang it out, create some kids?
absolutely. Most of them do it without the wife. Most of them will just do it.
I mean, it
The
is a
cheating-
small town. That's what I'm saying.
The cheating thing with linemen is a big fucking deal.
Is it like don't ask, don't tell, or what?
Oh boy, the lineman culture's gnarly for that. We're on the road, man. We're doing our thing, and a lot of them are doing their thing.
I wonder how big STDs is.
A lot of us are not into that, but a lot of us are. It's hard to live out there doing that. It's weird. It's
Yeah,
hard,
it would
it's
be.
hard on a guy, but
That
nah,
would
man,
be really hard.
the ones that make it with their old lady. That's a bond right there. That's not breakable. It's not breakable. These women go through more fucking shit than any woman alive. The deployment people that get deployed, I'm telling you right now, we have every bit of the same, if not more, of the problems than anybody would ever know. It's hard. Being married to a lineman is hard. An on-the-road lineman, traveling lineman. It's rough.
I think it would be hard to have your wife or your spouse there in general, right? Because now you have to worry about other crew members like trying to get at your girl.
Oh, it's a thing. That's a thing too.
Have to fuck up a team member.
That's a thing too. There's all kinds of that stuff. If you can think it, it's happened. Line work's definitely full of that. But it definitely takes a special person to be. We're just hard to be around, period. We just want to go. We're not content holding still. We want to work. We want to have a good time. We're loud. We just want to get out there and boogie. We don't have a long time for the nonsense. It's hard to shake that right now, even. Now that I'm out of it completely, I'm really struggling with it for sure. I went from having ultimate power of everything I ever did. Every move was, I did things. I told people what to do, and I ran things, and very efficient at what I did. And I come here, and now it's like, it's different, man. There's a lot of that's gone, and it's hard to just let that go. It's interesting. It's interesting. But even coming home for the weekend's hard because they're here. They got their shit figured out. Where you come, step on it. We get in the middle of what they're up to, and she's got a system without you, and now you're in the middle telling the kids what to do. She's like, don't fucking tell the kid. I got this shit under control. Now you're like, don't you fucking talk to me like that? Nobody talks to me like that.
Yeah, I come home.
That's a thing.
I come home and screw things up every single time because the kids are like, they already know that Dad's the yes man and gonna have some fun. Yeah, so they'll ask me, oh hey, can we do this? And well, sure. Yeah, well, I didn't know that you haven't done your homework, you haven't done anything, your mom's mad at you, you're in trouble for the last week screwing off, and then I show up and say, oh yeah, sure, here, have this, have that, take this, take that, we'll go do this, do that,
When we'll come home from solving the most complex problems, right? Thinking through the most intense shit ever that as a man has ever seen, to just arguing about some stupid shit. And it's like, what the fuck is, it's so hard for me. That's my experience. It's like, why is this a thing? Are you kidding me right now? Like this, if you only knew, but it's her, right? It's like, if you only knew, it's so weird, the division there, because what they do here is so hard, but what we do, nobody even has a clue how fucking hard it is. It's so hard to balance that. And we're not going to go on the little emotional game with it and be like, well, you just don't know what we do. Most of us will never say that word. We're just going to just agree with it and we'll just take more heat. That's what I do. I'm like, you have no idea what I do. Like, I don't say that because nobody does. That's a hard job. But when you go through all that shit and you come home and deal with mediocre things, it's like, good God, man, this is fine. Guys, we're okay. They don't see it that way. They don't know how we think. So it's hard. That's a hard spot for me right there.
Yeah, well, because when we come home, it's vacation or staycation, however you want to look at it. It's vacation from work.
Yeah.
But it's not vacation for them. they're still taking care of the kids. They're still doing the cooking, cleaning, everything.
Yep.
So us coming home doesn't mean vacation for them, and I fail to realize that, to see it all the time, and so they definitely have a pretty hard.
It gets failed to see both ways, though. It's fair to say that
It is.
They need to also see try to understand what we're coming through and what we're actually going through, and it's really hard. It seems to be a party, I think, for most of us out there. Most people think it's easy. It's a party. We're having a good time. It's the hardest fucking thing you'll ever do. And people think that we make it a good time. So it appears to be a party and a good time. It is fucking hard to be away from your family like that. So I think understanding both ways is crucial right there. Where truly understand your linemen out there. They're working their asses off, man. They mean no harm. They're trying to do the right thing. Sometimes we don't convey that very well. We just want to chill for a minute. I don't. I just want to work more in my garage and drive everybody even more crazy. I don't know. What else? What else we got? Is that good? How do we do?
Man, good. I think that you guys answered all my questions. Like, obviously, there's way more that we can jump into, right?
Oh, it's
but
for days.
This craft is something that if you are somebody that loses your patience because your power's off, just remember that some of these guys haven't slept in days. Some of these guys are going through a lot of personal stuff with their relationship. Some of them might be having a baby on the way and they can't really see their family during that time. There's a lot of things that are going on in these people's life. And I think just leading with empathy and understanding that you'll be able to get through a few hours or maybe even a couple of days with no power. Like we can figure this shit out.
Truly understand. We're going through exactly what you got. Everybody else is, and a little because of the lack of being around. And so we're definitely having spousal problems. I bet you 90% of us have spousal problems. So we're also dealing with that 24 hours a day. And then you come out and yell at me. Mm-hmm. We're going to fucking have a problem. It's like, man, come on, guys. Like, yeah, be good to these people. They're salt of the earth humans. They just want to do the right thing, man. They're not out there to fucking around. The linemen are very, very hardworking human beings. Every fucking one of us have it in our hearts because you won't make it through the apprenticeship. If you're a journeyman lineman, chances of you being a lazy piece of shit sleeping when you shouldn't be are very rare. That guy's sleeping because he ain't slept in 2 weeks. If he's in the church parking lot taking a nap, there's a fucking reason for that. And if you only knew the reason, just calm down and let these people do what they do. They're giving you their best, I promise you. Most of the time. More often than not, they're giving you all they got. They're giving all they got because they'll lose their job otherwise. We'll get fired. They will fire us. So necessary sleep, but it's hard to hide. We don't know where to go. We're out there. We have to just catch a quick nap. That's the thing. We'll hit a church. We'll try to hide. We try to get away from people, and so we're not seen. You can't go back to the shop. It's 60 miles away or whatever. We don't have the resources, man. Nobody bitches about a cop taking a nap somewhere. You see a line crew. They take pictures of us. They send them in. It's a thing. It's like, man, we've been working for weeks on end, bro. It's sad, man. You never know what people are going through, and linemen are definitely going through some shit. Always, 100% of the time. Yeah. We're not working when it's easy. It's hot, and it's cold, and it's miserable, and we need a break, man. And we're always caught right in the middle of it, it seems. But there's people that ruin it, too, for us, that don't deserve. They're doing it the wrong shit, and that gives us a bad rap. But I think all in all, we're under the radar mostly always, and I think we all like that. I think awareness of it is something not a lot of us want anyway. But definitely from people, person to person, any interaction you ever have, just honk at us, wave. You can honk at us, you can holler at us, very personable people. If you stop and want to talk to a line crew on the road, they're not going to allow that. But roll your window down and scream, "We love you, lineman," fucking A, would put a smile on everybody's face. We're very good at what we do. If you see us working up there, you can scream and holler cool shit as you drive by. It's not going to scare nobody away or anything like that. That stuff's cool, man. I love the honks and "we love you." We get lots of that too. Like that shit's cool. So do that. Say, yeah, acknowledge us. But it's hard to come up and talk to us when we're working because we'll definitely not allow that. Most of the time, we'll ask you to step aside out of safety. But honk at us, man. Wave at us. Most of you, show them your titties. Give them a little titty shot. I don't know. "We love you." That's a thing.
That's yet to happen.
What if I show you my dick? Yo, I appreciate you.
Hey, I'm sure that's a...
Well,
look at his dick.
It still comes back to Mac.
Mac, I've seen his dick a lot.
Yeah, we've seen it.
That's the crotch guy, right?
Yeah,
That's Mac Fitzgerald. He's something else.
Love that guy.
He's still around. We all know each other. We're a very tight-knit community. If you're in a room, like we can pick each other out of a crowd. We're all the same people. We talk the same. We act the same. Linemen are good people. There's nothing like them. Nothing. There's nothing like them. Nothing like us.
Everybody, we all know everybody, well, for the most part.
You say 5 words, you can know people.
Yeah. Everybody knows somebody or somebody that somebody else has worked with, and your name is out there way before you are.
Oh boy.
And it's pretty cool.
Reputation, legacy is a real thing in that craft.
Yeah.
For sure. And it follows you. Lots of pride in that one. What else do we got? Did we get it? I think we crushed that.
Yeah.
We'll have to do more lineman stuff.
Yeah.
I'm one of those. Was one of those.
Still are, always will
Always
be.
will be one of those.
Yeah. Well, it's nice having Dre asking questions because
Yeah.
nobody
bud.
can understand you and I sitting there talking line work.
I was tripping at first. I was like, how are we going to do some of this here? Ask. Yeah, it'd be great. Because you have the questions everybody has, and we don't know those questions.
Yeah.
And nor does she, the wife, the girl. She doesn't know because she knows the life too.
I was gonna say though, you got your fingers tatted, right? You got what's on your it? NFT?
IBW.
Yeah, that's what it is. Have you did anything to? I think the word is commemorate. Was it commemorate? What's the word?
Commemorate?
Commemorate.
I don't know what you're asking though. To do what?
To symbolize your retirement. To symbolize you out.
No.
When are you gonna do that?
I don't know if I will.
But you're out.
Once the lineman, always the lineman.
Oh gosh.
I still hold my ticket.
But you're out.
But it's if I go back in the way I did it, if I want to go back, it's mine right where I left the spot.
It could be an honorable. We got to tattoo your ass, so it could be a kiss my ass or
I'll do the
to that one company.
I'll tap the date out. Yeah, for sure. I'll tap my date out. Companies change. Everything changes. The one thing that will never change in lion world is people, our linemen, people that know we're the most tight humans. We love each other with our whole hearts, and we would all do anything at the end of the day, even when some of us have shit, whatever it is. We are all there for each other always, and that's a real thing. You want to see a group of people rally, that's a gnarly fucking thing to stir up right there. You get some linemen doing some shit, and there's some shit happening. A lot of solid just brotherhoodness of it all, and everything can be shook away if the worst problems in the world will go away if we meet. Doesn't even matter. We're always homies everywhere we go. Beautiful people. I love them. I love them. I love you, guys. Thanks for being linemen. And be linemen if you want to be. Good luck. It's getting harder.
It is.
It's getting easier, but it's harder. What else you got, Joey? Send me home.
Send you home. Oh, boy, I don't know.
What's your last piece of advice for the world? Hopefully not your last, but you know what I mean.
Well,
On this show.
I know
Leave us with something
it's not
wise.
lineman related, but when you hug somebody goodbye, just it's going back to my mom. You know, you don't know if that's gonna be the last time you hug or say goodbye to somebody. So make sure that you absolutely mean it and show them that love. It was a year ago yesterday that my mom passed away.
That sucks, man.
And I still wish that I could give her, one more hug. I could go back to that last one and make it mean more than it did.
Yeah. So do that all the time, right?
Yeah.
Every second. Always give those. Fucking life. Why? I'm sorry I had to go through that.
Oh,
It's horseshit.
it is. It's part of it.
It's made you who you is, I guess.
It has, it has changed me. For sure. It's putting a different perspective on things, for sure. I appreciate time with the people I love way more than maybe I had in the past. You don't realize how much you got.
Yeah, you really don't. Especially when shit's bad, too. Right? That's where Ugh. Make amends. Do your thing, right?
Yeah.
What is the most important thing we do with our life? It's what we do with our life. We talk about that all the time. So everybody, thanks Joe for coming on here. Everybody be good to everybody. And remember what I just said.